Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sugar House Park, the Grace on Fire. I am interviewing today a quite astounding woman in our community, the Salt Lake community. Sandra Melbon has been a leader of the community since I can remember, since she moved here from Hawaii, 1996?
Yes.
1996. She has been a leader in the community in so many ways, so involved in so many things, and I am so grateful and so honored to have her here with us all to talk to her and find out a little bit more about this quite amazing spiritual leader of our community. So let's all give just a really warm and gracious welcome for Sandra Melbon. Thank you, thank you. Sandra, you have been so involved in the community and helped with so many things. I'd like to start, though, with you've written a book.
Yes.
Sandra has written this book, A Joyful Journey, Exploring Your Vibration of Creation. Sandra, could you tell us all a little more about your book?
Sure, yeah. Well, I've had quite a journey. When I was 15 years old, I suffered from really deep depression and had thoughts of suicide. And over the years, that has actually continued. Many times thinking, I want to check out. And at some point, I realized that I didn't, that I wanted to change my thinking. I didn't want to be depressed anymore. I wanted to live a joyful life. And so I wrote this book, and it actually has exercise. It's a workbook. And I share with you lots of exercises that I've used over the years to change my paradigm, my thinking. And so when I tell people I've been depressed and suicidal, they don't believe it of me, but I have. So I'm just here to say that that can be changed. And now my life is so happy. I love my life. I never think of checking out anymore. So, woo! Thanks.
Thank you, Sandra. And I know Sandra personally. I have read the book myself. It is fabulous. I recommend this book to everybody, whether you're feeling depressed or not. This is a beautiful book. You also have a CD that goes along with it, correct? She also has a CD that goes along with the book. So you are the spiritual leader of Unity, and you've been involved in Unity in many, many ways. Tell us, how long have you been involved with Unity of Salt Lake City?
Well, I've been involved in Unity since the 1970s. In 1975, when I was 25, as a matter of fact, I started going to Unity, discovered it, and love it, and I've never left. It's I moved here in 1996, and of course, I sought out a Unity with expectations of having coming to a really small center and discovering that it was actually a large spiritual center, and I was just thrilled. So I've been the spiritual leader for 3 years, coming up on my third year, and actually an associate spiritual leader since 2004, when I became licensed. So I love Unity, and it's quite the adventure for me being the spiritual leader. I've learned so much, and I've grown so much, and I love working with people, and most of all, I love sharing the Unity principles. So that's the story on Unity.
Sandra, yes, you have been very involved. I remember in 2000 you being a huge organizer of the January 1st New Year's meditation ceremony they had downtown. You have been involved in the Parliament of World Religion. She was a key player in the Parliament, such a key player that she wasn't even able to attend all the events because she was so busy attending to making sure dignitaries got rides and everything from A to Z. You were working on that for about a year.
Yes, but locally.
Locally,
Yes.
for the Parliament of World Religions, which came to Salt Lake City. So thank you for that, and you've done so much. I would like to hear some of the. I love Unity of Salt Lake City. I speak at Unity of Salt Lake City. Most of us all, a lot of us all go there at least one time or another. What are the precepts of unity?
The the first precept is that we are one with Creator, one with God. And sometimes it's hard to grasp that concept. Sometimes we can have an intellectual understanding, but not always fully understand what that is. I like to think that we are extensions of God. So, source, creator, by whatever name you use. I'm comfortable using the name God. God moves through us as us. We are part of God. God is part of us. So that's a very important principle because it affects how we live our lives. Because we are in the image and likeness of God, we are also creators. And how we create is through our beliefs, our thoughts, and of course, our words. And so in Unity, we teach that it's very important to be aware of what we're thinking and how we are expressing. And then we also believe that Jesus was our way shower. So he taught us how to live a life of love, compassion, and that was his primary message. So we want to follow in his footsteps. And that is how we come to a place of Christ consciousness. So what we teach is that everybody can rise up into Christ consciousness with that intention. And so you're Bonnie the Christ, I'm Sandra the Christ, following, the way of Jesus the Christ. Then we also believe that the way we connect and know that God is within us, to feel the presence, is through prayer and meditation. So we just come to that place of stillness where we can, when you breathe deep, right? You breathe deeply, you quiet your mind, and you can feel that presence within. And when we meditate on a regular basis, as you know, as this community knows, it changes our lives. It changes our day, minute by minute, changes our lives so that we can be in the world in a peaceful, joyful, contemplative way. And then lastly, we believe that it's not enough just to know the principles, but we must live the principles. That's probably the most important. A lot of people in religion, they know, but they don't practice what they're taught at church. And so what's the point? So we're practitioners of what we teach.
Thank you, Sandra. That's beautiful. Beautiful. I'd like to ask you, just going in line with what you had said, I want to know some examples how you walk your talk. I know you do because I know you. You've been a very dear friend. We met in 1996, probably shortly after you arrived. We've been good, very dear friends since. How are some ways that you do walk your talk? And I do know that you are very involved in charity and humanitarian projects. You've been involved with Center for Awakening, with our Costa Rica projects, with many of our projects to the Indians. And let me know some of the ways. Let tell the world some of the different ways that you do walk your talk, because I know that she does. This is one woman on this planet that walks her talk.
Okay, I'm blushing. Yes, I do contribute to several charities. Uh, I like having money. And you know why I like having money? Because of all the things that I can do with it to help others. And one of my favorite charities is Smile Train. When I learned that for a mere $250, doctors can fix a cleft palate of a child who lives in a third world country. And a child in a third world country with a cleft palate, it's hard for them to eat. They're not accepted into in society. They're rejected. And so once they have that surgery, then they're as good as new. They look just fine. They can speak. They can eat. And it makes $250 makes a huge difference in the life of this human being. And it's like, I can do that. And of course, Feed the Children, one of my favorites. And the Heifer project, I can't think of the name of it right now, but where I make a contribution and a woman can buy a goat or chickens or a pig or whatever, and so they have food to eat. Her family, it helps their family, and it helps the village. So if she has chickens, and she'll have the eggs, and she can sell the eggs, and anyway, in every way, it contributes to the well-being of an entire village. So also in walking my talk, I have to talk about radical forgiveness. I believe that forgiveness is the greatest act that we can do to show love. And I really like the idea of radical forgiveness because in this situation, you are not looking at how you've been done wrong, but instead you are looking at the part you've played in a contentious situation, the part that you have played. And this is where you say, I'm sorry for any beliefs, thoughts, words, actions I've taken that have contributed to this situation. I'm sorry for that. Please forgive me. And I absolutely love you. Even to a person that can irritate, when we look at how they embody the Christ, look beyond whatever may irritate, and know that we are one with that person. And this person has wonderful qualities, and we get in touch with that, and we acknowledge that. And that can change a person when you let them know that you see them who they really are, who they truly are. And then you say thank you. Thank you for having shown me how the part I played, and so that I can turn it around. It is so effective, so amazing, and I get to do that often, actually. So practice radical forgiveness. I love to do it. It's a wonderful practice.
Thank you, Sandra. You embody forgiveness and love as just who you are. And yes, you have been involved in many charitable projects and things in our community and worldwide. So thank you for that, Sandra.
My honor.
I'd like to ask you one last question. What is exciting and new for you on your spiritual path right now in time and space?
Barbie, did you come up with that question? Oh my goodness. What's new and exciting? You know, I think what's exciting, I don't know how new it is, but what's exciting to me is every time I go, aha, because I've had a deeper understanding of a spiritual concept, or when I've recognized that, wow, I've come a long ways. I am actually not struggling with this anymore. It's like, that is so cool. And so to me, that is the most exciting thing. Uh, I don't know. Don't you guys feel like that when you've discovered, wow, this is coming with more ease and grace than ever before? Woohoo! Yeah. um, there's always something new going on. And I know that I have in my mind to write another book, and I'm really excited about doing that. And with politics the way they are these days, talk about being contentious. And a lot of people are willing to be violent in how they respond to people, how they interact with people, and yet they call themselves Christians. And that bothers me. It just bothers me. They give Christianity a bad name. And I would like to write a book that addresses the issues of today in relation to what Jesus taught. So I would use the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and just take every issue and what would Jesus do if Jesus were alive today? Jesus who would be teaching the same message. And those who call themselves Christians get to look at whether or not they are following truly the way Jesus lived his life and showed us how to live our lives. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to get started. And I intend to write it before the year ends. That'll be my latest project.
That was just on tape. Everyone heard, and now it'll be on YouTube. So that is an exciting book. I look very much forward to reading that book, taking the Christian principles of Christ on our present moment issues in our world. Fabulous. What a great contribution to the world, to society, to the community, to people. And Sandra, you are an author. You are a spiritual leader. She's also a storyteller. One of the things I first learned about her when I first learned about this amazing woman. And speaker, she's a profound speaker. She speaks often at Unity, being the spiritual leader. And we are just so honored and so fortunate and blessed to have you in our community and to have you on this planet. I see you reaching out, especially with this new book, reaching further out into the international realm. And we need people like Sandra Malbon all around this world making a difference. So let's all give a warm thank you to Sandra for this beautiful time together. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here on this blustery, windy, kind of chilly day. And this, woo! And this is the inaugural event of Grace on Fire, and it is a spontaneous talk. I have not prepared anything, so I'm a little scared inside. Actually, I woke up this morning petrified. Panic in my heart, truly panic. And I was just like, okay, just feel it, Bonnie, just feel it all fully, feel it, don't push it away, just feel it. I'm alive. You see, I used to not want to feel afraid. I used to not want to feel sad. I used to think there was something wrong with me if I felt sad or afraid or down or anxious. So as I was young, I thought there was something wrong with me most all the time. pretty much a lot of the time. A lot of the time, because I grew up feeling a lot of anxiety. I still get anxiety. But I figured out the other day, when I was in the middle of some intense anxiety coming through my body. Because there's a lot going on in my life, too. I'm moving, and there's a lot of transitions and changing. And I'm doing this inaugural Grace on Fire, spontaneous talks. And so I woke up, and I felt so afraid, and I thought, I've got this anxiety going on lately. And I meditated on it a little bit. And I thought, I'm up to things. I'm up to things. So I should give myself a little bit of a break. I feel some fear because I'm moving into lots of unknown territories. Unknown territories. I'm moving to a new place, a new area, about an hour away. I'm going to live on my own. I have never lived by myself in my life. My adult life, my child, never. I have never lived alone by myself. And I'm going to do that. So there's been a lot of new things happening, and I'm moving, and I'm making changes, and I'm up to things. So I feel some fear, I feel some anxiety, and so I'm actually kind of proud of myself. Woo, I'm afraid! Woo, and I'm anxious, and I'm miserable. No, I'm not miserable. I'm not miserable. I'm afraid sometimes. But you know what? I'm alive. I realize, too, there's that life force that's inside of us. And I tune in. I tune into it. I learned with Kripalu Yoga, which I started going. I ran off to ashrams at 16 to Kripalu Center in Massachusetts. And they taught you to really go in and feel the aliveness. Sense the aliveness. Sense the aliveness. And I've come to find that that's who I am. That is who I am, that aliveness. And I'll tell you, when you're afraid or when you're anxious, go inside and feel it. You will feel that aliveness. You will really feel it. You will feel so alive inside. I was sick this winter. I had a flu. Oh, boy. It was not good. I hadn't had a flu since I was in 3rd grade. I did so much meditating while I had that flu, and I would go in and I would feel this intense aliveness in me. Intense aliveness. I mean, I don't know if it was the healing energy or the power of my soul coming in full force to heal this flu. But I could feel so much aliveness and so much power, even though I also felt a little dead. The flu. But I was grateful to have that flu, too. You know why? Because that flu made me really, really grateful for feeling healthy. Really, really grateful for feeling healthy. And sometimes we have to have a little contrast sometimes to feel grateful for what we have. It's not bad. The contrast actually helps us to get in touch with what we really want. Because when we're really clear about what we don't want, like being sick or being a lot of anxiety, and that's okay, because I can feel it. I used to push away every feeling inside of me. Push every feeling inside of me. I'd numb myself. I didn't do drugs, but that probably would have been okay. But I did. I found all the kind of ways to do it. I would eat sometimes, or I would do anything. Just stuff it down. But I've learned that, all those feelings, all those emotions, whether they're good or they're bad, it's the aliveness. It makes me alive. It makes me who I am, and it serves me. And I'm grateful for the intensity. You know why? If I want to feel intense joy, intense ecstasy, intense passion, and I do. All of you here that know me know that I do. I do. I can feel a level of ecstasy and passion and euphoria naturally without any artificial things. But it comes. There's always the front of the hand and the back of the hand, the front of the hand and the back of the hand. So if I want to feel that ecstasy, if I want to feel that bliss, if I want to feel that joy and that rapture of being alive on this planet, I can't shut out the pain. I can't shut out the grief. I can't shut out the fear and the anxiety and the sadness. I have to embrace it all because we're living beings. We're alive. And however far up we go, I'm going to tell you, you just open up like a flower. You open up, when you open up to the ecstasy, you open up just as far to feeling everything. You just open up more to being alive. So yeah, you have to be brave. You have to be brave because you're opening yourself up to that ecstasy, to that aliveness, to living life fully. And you're also opening yourself up to feeling some deep, profound emotions that sometimes might not feel joyful and ecstatic. Grief, fear. And that's okay too, because we're alive, we're living, we're beings. And I just want to say to all of you that are here, and it's to anyone who's listening, if you're hearing my words right now, that is a synchronistic thing, because the message is for you. If this is landing on your ears, it's not an accident. Nothing's an accident in this world. It's a synchronistic world. That you are so brave. So brave. So incredibly brave, because I think coming to this world and being a human being, living a life as a human being, takes immense courage. Immense courage. And there are people that are living lives as human beings and they're up to a lot of stuff, making a difference in the world. Like Sandra we're just speaking to, she is up to a lot of big stuff, making a difference for the world. Thank God for the leaders. But it doesn't matter what you're doing, what it is you're doing. You are so brave to just be here on this planet now, living your life, doing whatever you're doing. And I would recommend an invitation. It's what I've lived by. It's one of my principles I've lived by my whole life. When I was a little girl, I had a poster on my room, and it was up on my walls, right above my bed. And I actually made it for my kids this Christmas. And it said, "Follow your heart, and all your dreams will come true." What it didn't say, is you follow your heart, and there may be some fear along the way. There may be some anxiety along the way. There may be some grief along the way. And you know what? If you're not stretching, if you're not moving, if you're not expanding yourself, if you're not out there trying new things, you might not feel much of that. But if you are, if you're one of those people that wants to go a little outside the box, break out of some shells. It takes courage to break out of a shell. I used to be very, very shy when I was a little girl. Very shy, painfully shy sometimes. And here I am speaking. Grace on Fire. So we all changed, but that that took some courage, and it took some overcoming some fear and living through some fear and not letting it stop me. So we're free and freer and freer and more free and more free and more free. Because to me, freedom is important. It's in our national anthem. The land of the free, the home of the brave. Free and brave. The land of the free and the home of the brave. Do you know why? Do you know why we need to? This is the home of the brave. You have to be so brave in order to claim your freedom. If you want to be totally free inside and follow that heart, follow your truth, your highest truth, moment to moment, because you know it might make some people mad. You might even lose some friends by following your truth and your heart. You could. You may get criticized by following your heart. There's a lot of things. You need to be very brave, very courageous if you want to follow your heart. Follow your truth. moment to moment to moment. Because I'll tell you, it changes. I know for me, it changes. I'm going one direction, whoop, the other direction, whoop. Bob's smiling because he knows. It's hard to keep up with me. I'm going, everybody's smiling. But you're living in the moment and you're living your truth moment to moment. And we all are. We all are. We all are living our truth moment to moment. We are really all living our truth moment to moment. And that takes a lot of courage. And that creates a tremendous amount of freedom inside. Inside is where the freedom is. Inside, where you're free inside. Free. That takes courage. And I want you to know you're all so brave and courageous. This isn't an easy thing to be human on this planet, now or any time. But it is transforming. This planet's transforming. This world is transforming. Heaven on earth is on its way. I see it every day. I see it every day. We were at the soccer game yesterday, and it was like heaven on earth. Kids and families, a band. We were walking up to the soccer field, and there was a band in front of us playing. It was amazing. It was safe, and it was beautiful, and everyone was happy. They were playing, the beanbag tosses. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful world. And it also takes a lot of courage. And there's also a lot of tragedy. But we feel it. And we become richer and we be deeper people from it. And we move through it. We don't back away. We don't push it away. We go through the fire. Through the fire. There was a fireman I knew, and he would get extreme panic before he'd have to fire. He did forest fires. And I said, of course you're going to get extreme panic. You're going right through the fire. Through the fire. I mean through the fire. Literally, he's going through the fire. And we all have to go through the fire. Our own fires. Our own fears, our own shells. It always feels like a fire when we go through that. Big changes is a big fire. When we transform and we become bigger and we become grander and we express ourselves more, that's a fire. So I'd like to conclude with just congratulating you for all the fires that you have gone through in your life. And you've gone through a lot. And every time you go through, you become more expansive. It's like the butterfly. Every time that caterpillar goes through the chrysalis and becomes a butterfly, it's gone through a fire. Every time the snake sheds its skin because it's bigger now, or a crab sheds its shell because it's larger and bigger, and it cannot stay in that small shell anymore. It's got to grow. It's got to grow out of it. They go through many shells. They say there's the lobster or the crab goes through so many shells. And you have been through many fires. You've broken through many shells just to be here on this planet and alive. Everyone does. Every child does. No matter how wonderful your life is, every human being has to face that fire many times, break through shells many times, and every time you're braver. You're more expanded. You're wiser. You're more compassionate. You're deeper. You're more yourself. You're truer and deeper and freer within yourself. So I congratulate you, and I acknowledge you, and I love you for being yourself, for breaking through all those shells that you've had to break through and going through all those fires that you had to go through, because I know they weren't easy. But you did it. You did it. And you are brave, and you are courageous, and you are astounding. Each and every one of you. If you're hearing these words, or you're here and present, or you're hearing them through this telecast, you are brave, and you are astounding. And I acknowledge you, and I love you. And thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, and for listening. I love you. Namaste.